Welcome back to the Believe in Badger Football podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. Once again, I'm your host, Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how are we doing today?
Dude, every day, Matty P with you is a holiday. I feel like I say that every time, but it's true. I feel like we have the coolest podcast ever because we get to talk about people who, one, we watched, we're huge fans of. Some I played with, others I just consider brothers because we were in the same locker room at some point in our lives. We have the distinct pleasure of talking to AJ Taylor today.
Yes, we do.
Thank you for coming before you go to that weird state, Texas, and do whatever you guys do on retreats for companies now.
Right. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to be here. It's gonna be dope. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear where we go with this.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you here. So I just want to remind you guys before we get into it here with AJ, we are brought to you by betonline.ag. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market lines and odds. Find reviews and news for every league: Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, golf, and most importantly, college football. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting to props, futures, and more. Head on over to BetOnline or use your mobile device to join today to make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. We're gonna start back in Kansas City, AJ. Now we know you went to high school there. You're back there now. Are you born and bred in Kansas City?
Yes, I want to say that. I want to say yeah, but I actually was born in Shawnee Mission, Kansas. So I got to be truthful there. There's a big rivalry. It's like Wisconsin, Minnesota. You know, if you're from Wisconsin, I'm strong for Wisconsin. They're better at sports. They're better, That's how it is with Missouri and Kansas. So I got to be honest. I was born in Kansas, but yeah, raised in Missouri, Kansas City. Yep.
Wait, that's awesome. So you were born there. You see my little teeny wife just came back.
Yes, she did. Wait, does she have the baby with her, or is the baby in bed?
No, listen, dude, I'm sorry. This is what life looks like now. I got the baby.
Yeah. Congratulations, but also,
thank you.
I'm sorry, right?
No.
I know.
Believe me, yes, it's the best, and we just completely went off track, but it's the coolest thing to be a dad.
Yeah,
like it's awesome. Just the coolest. Okay, so go back. So you're born in Kansas. No, born in Kansas.
Yep.
Then moved to Missouri.
Yep.
Guys, is it like a border battle? It's like right across. The high schools are close to each other.
Oh, hell yeah! Like honestly, the high school that I went to it's on State Line Road. So like literally right on the Missouri side of the state line. So yeah, it's a huge border war. Actually, I just got through, just finished with my nephew's. He's in like club football, AAU football right now. And the title of the tournament was Border Wars. And so it's a big deal. Who's better at basketball? Who's better at football? Who's better at lacrosse? I mean, whatever you're into, there's a border battle for it.
What's like the football like down there? Because I literally know nothing about either states. So I'm interested to hear, like, we always talk to people like, what's the football like, like in these
Ohio
different states?
Or Florida or California, right? Like
so
Georgia.
You are our first. Are you our first Missourian? No, you're not our first Missourian. We had Scott Starks from St. Louis.
From St. Louis, yeah, probably. First Kansas City, and I'll take that.
Yes, sir. Right? Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. You can get Graham after me. So I kind of like to say it like this. I think Texas, well, everybody does it a little different. Some go divisions. We do class. So class is ranked on population of high school, of course, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Texas goes to 8A, right? Missouri goes to 6A. So population, we're not going to have that big of population, but we're still a pretty competitive spot. Like we'll play, when I was there, we played teams in Arkansas. We tried to play teams in Oklahoma. What's the Union? I think that's the team in Oklahoma. We played Bentonville, Arkansas. We played some pretty good teams. East St. Louis. That was a good team. That was
Illinois.
Yeah. So we kind of were branching all out. We can compete with them. We didn't have all the athletes to choose from, but we were pretty solid, a pretty solid team. So football here was, I would say, is around that caliber, right? You're going to have a few athletes, but we're kind of trying to build the team. Does that make sense? We're not like it's not like like every school is going to have, 10 D1 commits. We're going to have, a couple here and there, right?
But wait, hold on. I went to high school in New York. We don't play anyone not within like a couple mile radius.
Yeah, no, that's wild.
It's wild.
Well, so New York, what's it? I mean, what's it like there? And, I've always wondered.
It depends. If you ask all my brothers from Wisconsin, they'll say football's a joke.
Yeah.
Then
basketball's huge there, isn't it?
Basketball's huge. But then,
then
I'll be like, I'll go to your games and be like, guys, you guys think your football's better than ours?
Right. No, that's so true.
More dudes play in Wisconsin than in New York. That's for sure. Like now there's, with all the CTE stuff, it's like soccer, which to me, soccer is just as dangerous as football. You're not even wearing pads. But we can get into that conversation different time.
I'm with you.
However, the only time I ever played a different state's team was in the New York, New Jersey All-Star game. But you're saying in your season, you played a lot of different states, high schools in different states. That's wild.
I had a similar experience too, because my high school's on the border of Vermont and New Hampshire. So we played Vermont teams all the time.
All the times, right? Yeah. So border, and we actually, the crazy part, when I was playing, we didn't really play teams in Kansas because, again, there's like the Missouri's better at football type of stigma. So we want to play the teams down south because that's where we're going to get our competition. And we got our competition. I think I really would say, like, the further you go south, I think the athleticism gets better, but the teams get better because they can practice year round. Missouri, and I think Wisconsin, I don't recall, but I know Missouri has like regulations where you can't practice in the spring. I don't even think, you can't even like have coaches with a football in the spring. And those rules are starting to kind of change a little bit and morph, but it's that's the only advantage I'd say they had, right? I mean, the Southern schools, right?
For sure.
They have like 3 seasons. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, I'm living here in Tennessee, and one of my closest friends here is a high school football coach. Yeah. And it's year round. They don't stop. They don't stop. Like, they finish in December. Like, they're like the state title game's in December, and they're lifting in January, as a team. So there's no off season. It's crazy.
There's no that was ideal. I wish I had that in high school, but it's taught me a lot of self-discipline and taught me all the intangibles that you learn from football, and you can learn outside of football as well. So
how old were you when you got into football? Are we talking like did you start in high school, or did you start like at a much younger age?
You know what? I played flag football probably at 5 years old. Tackle probably. I always get this mixed up. I think I played flag football maybe a little older, and I think I started tackle fifth grade. I was terrible. 6th grade, but then I was actually not going to play football after my 6th grade year. And then something happened going into 7th grade where I was like, if I work out, do push-ups, go run some hills, I get faster and stronger. So let me keep doing that. And as I did it, I started to see improvements. And then I'd really say football really ramped up for me 7th grade and on. But 5th grade, 6th grade, I kind of was just out there,
Dude, by the way, talk about push-ups. Your arms are huge in every picture. I mean, huge.
You know what? It's a blessing and a curse.
Wait, where's the curse? Where's the curse?
See, I think we all have like these little, maybe, I don't know, maybe me, have these little body image issues sometimes. And I used to like look at all these receipts because I got bigger as a running back. I was lifting, curling, but I didn't even curl. I rarely do arms ever. But they just get big when I get a little pumping, and I hate it. And so I'm looking at all of our receivers Like even like Q, call them out. Q, Danny, Kendrick, call them out. Q, Danny, Kendrick. Their arms are small, and I'm like, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? They're saying no, we want to get big, but I'm like, I want to look skinny like a receiver now. But
you want to look like Chimmery, don't you? You want to like you want to look like Chimmery out there, man. He's so slender.
I don't want to look that skinny, but I hear you, right? I think there's like a balance. There's like a happy balance, and my arms sometimes they just look a little. I don't know. I feel like big. Like they're like, "Are you a linebacker?" No, I'm a receiver, right?
Well, were you always playing receiver? I mean, because I know in high school you played like everything on offense. You played running back, you played receiver, you played quarterback a little bit. Like you were doing a little bit of everything. But was that always the case, or were you jumping around?
Well, so yeah, Rockhurst, they really wanted me to stick with running back until kind of the receiver and everything else. Kind of let's just put them there. We need some help. And then at Wisconsin, it was pretty much all receiver, but just in case. We'll move you to running back, if we need to. Then next year JT came, we didn't need a running back, right? So I was good to stay a receiver. And that's just kind of how it played out. But I, loved it. Loved being a receiver there.
Well, let's talk about, so like when you said you started progressing more in football about 8th, 9th grade.
Yeah.
When do you know that this is something that you're passionate about? You're like, wow, I want to do this. I want to play at the next level, or the next level's noticing me. For me, it was the next level's noticing me. I played Class C, so D was the lowest, so C. For me, I was like, wow, there's some little schools that are kind of interested. This is kind of cool. I could play longer.
Yeah.
So what was that progression like for you? And then who was on the board? Because Wisconsin's kind of an interesting place for a lot of people to just go there.
Yeah. So to the first question, I think, everybody, like you said, has that thing that kind of draws them in. And for me, it always that. It was the love for me, it was the love of working out. And seeing how the work that I put in, seeing it pay off in the games. I think that's what I fell in love with. I think I fell in love with the process. Yeah. I fell in love with the process, and everything else was it was gravy. It was extra. Being able to, get recruited and stuff, that was all cool. But I just was in love with I get to go to the gym, work out, get stronger, work out, get faster, work out, get quicker, work with my routes against people. I just love that, and I love competition. So I fell in love with that. Everything followed. And then who was on the board? Do you mean like who was I looking at?
Yeah. What schools were interested in you? Yeah. And were you interested in?
I'd say a lot of the Big Ten was interested. But I'd say more of the Midwest were the ones that kind of I was seeing offers. So Iowa, Indiana, Illinois. Notre Dame was very, very interested for a while, but they never offered, which I'm actually a little happy, because if they did, I think I would have committed. And so I'm kind of glad that, things worked out the way they did. I think a coach left. But then we had like Louisville. I had some SEC because Mizzou had offered. So then some SEC teams came in. Arkansas was a big one. Then from the high school I went to, some Ivy League schools, Yale, Harvard. Those are, I wish I would have visited just to, just say I went, right?
Yeah. I grew up in the town that Dartmouth is my hometown. So, Actually, I think that was one as well. No, I don't know about Dartmouth. But I know Cornell. I'm trying to think. Penn State they were interested. I don't think they ever offered though.
Dude, that's a lot of colleges.
That's a lot of colleges. That's a lot of colleges. That's a lot of great colleges.
It was Oregon for a second, but then in Stanford for a second. They never committed. Stanford wanted me to take AP classes. I couldn't do it. Didn't have the confidence in my academic abilities, which I kind of look back and regret now. But it was kind of all over the place. But yeah, I'm glad everything worked out the way it did, because Wisconsin was probably it was perfect. It was perfect.
Wait, so how do you think it worked out perfectly for you?
You know what? that is a very good segue into where I'm at now, because just how everything happened, went to Wisconsin. I got to play through. I don't know if you know, but not that this is like, I'm happy about it, but Jazz and George ended up leaving the team my sophomore year. So I got to start as a sophomore, right? And play that half of a season and learn what is it like to start? What is it like to watch the film like that? You know what I'm saying? So I got like early experience in a crucial role. So then junior and senior year, I was thriving a little bit, but then I'd say that was good. But then I tore my Achilles senior year, which very devastating, but it allowed me to get my degree. I'll tell you that. I don't think I would have gotten my degree if I wouldn't have torn my Achilles. And it also allowed me to teach at my alma mater, Rockhurst, because they needed somebody with the exact degree that I had. So when I say like it was perfect, it just worked out perfectly. Like the way my life, where I'm at right now in my life is, I couldn't be happier, So I don't think it would have been better any other way.
Well, one thing, that's like greatest, most like uplifting thing to hear. Like I've heard all day. So thank you. Like I feel just joy emanating out through the screen. Second question though for you there is, what was your official visit like that sold you? I assume you took an official to. Yeah. What sold you on Wisconsin? On that OV.
You know what? What sold me on Wisconsin, and it was a couple of things, two things. The first thing was it was a rainy day, kind of cloudy day, and I saw loads of people just out, walking their dogs, riding bikes, skateboarding. We went to the terrace, people were just having a great time. People were out doing stuff on a cloudy, rainy day. And I'm like, what? I love it. And again, it's a college campus. I do understand. I think I was naive to that fact that, people are going to be out doing their things at a college campus. I was naive. So I'm like, this is a blast. This is a place I want to be, because I like to be, excited. I don't want to be down, right? Even if it's rainy. I don't want to let the circumstances control me. And I love the fact that the campus kind of displayed that. And then the second reason was, on the official, just like hanging out with everybody. And Coach Chris, he actually said, when you're playing football, I want you to be a football player. He said, when you're in school, I want you to be an academic. I want you to be a student. And then he said, when you're with your friends, I want you to be a good friend. I want you to socialize, hang out. He didn't say party, but I got the vibe that it was just like, I want you to enjoy the experience. And so I think that really sold me. Plus, just the Madison's campus is phenomenal. There's not many campuses like that. And I guess I gave you three, but the two main ones were the first two.
Dude, you could have 100. I mean, whatever it gets you to Wisconsin is what got you there.
It's a great spot.
I find that I talk to a lot of parents and they're like, why do kids love Wisconsin so much? And I'm like, here's why. When you go to Michigan, you just go to Michigan. Like there's nothing else there. It's not a beautiful place. When you go to Madison, it's between two lakes. It's gorgeous. Yes, it's cold. It's cold in pretty much most of North America most of the time.
Yeah.
It is just, it's cold. And what you're saying, people are on the lakes playing games.
It's the people. Yes.
The people, they love, not only do they love each other, it's most of the time, I would say, it depends. There's some outliers. They love their football.
Yeah.
And
they sure do.
You are a VIP everywhere you go when you play football.
Yeah.
In the state of Wisconsin, which I find truly special. It's not like that in a lot of places.
Yeah. I wouldn't know, but I do know Wisconsin, they love you. Yeah. Yes.
AJ, who was your host?
Ooh, Darius Hillary.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Yep. Okay.
Nice.
Darius Hillary. Great guy. Loved him. He gave great experience. And he just really real, just really authentic. He was just very authentic and very genuine. I think I had some deeper questions and he answered them just very authentically. And that also helped kind of sway things. But it was he made it a good time. What about you? Did you have a host?
Who was my host? Oh man, you're really making. Oh, it's actually really funny. I'm going to see this guy. He's going to be at the game this weekend.
Oh, wow.
Anthony Pushups from Pennsylvania. Tony Pushups. He was a tight end, number 85. A little bit close to your number. NFL? No,
he did.
Posiak played in the NFL for a while.
I think I remember seeing his frame.
He's going to be there also this weekend.
Oh wow,
it's going to be bananas. So I showed up. It's actually funny you asked me. Like, I loved mine. I already said I was going. Wisconsin was the biggest school. I have a similar thing. Like Penn State passed, and I was like, I told somebody today, I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like looking back, first of all, I would have been there during all the controversy, which would have been horrible, tainted career, everything.
Yeah.
Whether I knew or not, your moment against Penn State, first of all,
and then I would have never had that moment. But like you're saying, how these things have led to where I am. My wife's from Wisconsin. Like I'm obsessed with the place. I say that these little like key kind of paths have led me to where I am, which I couldn't be happier. I have a job. I work for Wisconsin. So everything about me is, my identity is like hugely Wisconsin. I do a podcast about players. Like that's all I want to talk about is Wisconsin. All day. Now I'm sidetracked and I'm like,
it's okay. I've got a question. You came in with, I think that you, Kendrick, and Quintez might be the single greatest receiver class that has ever come into Wisconsin at the same time. What was the competition between you three like, and how did y'all get along?
We actually I'll say this. We got along very, very well. Love the guys. The competition was fierce. I think Coach Gilmore, it like really, I don't want to say instilled. I don't think that's the word. He developed like that core dog, if you will, in all of us, right? He I don't know. He did that really well. He molded us well. But the competition is just, you see him do a one-handed catch, or you try to do a one-handed catch. You don't miss. You know what I'm saying? If he just made a play, you got to make it. It was one of those things where it's like we're all making each other better, right? All of the DBs made us better. And I think that was probably the best competition, was the DBs. Seeing, him do his thing and seeing him do his thing, or Ken do his thing and Q do his thing, that always was like good and all, but it's like, how do I make that mine? Like, how do I do my thing, And then as we kind of played out our game, practice, we kind of got to learn who each of us were. I'm going to be more technical. I want to be more like route clean. I want to be more like fundamental. Q's going to be more just dog athletic. And then Ken's going to be more speed, beat you, jump. Like I'm an out athletic you as well, right? So we kind of like all kind of molded into the type of players we were. And it was just cool to see everybody growing, right? We're all trying to make plays, but we do it in different ways, right?
Yeah, you guys are very complimentary to each other in terms of skill sets, which you just mentioned. Like, I mean, I don't know if Wisconsin's ever had a better jump ball receiver than Quintez. Like, right. Except for, okay, Bernie, why am I blanking on his name right now? Nick Davis. Nick Davis is the only other guy I can think of.
He actually had some play. Yes, well, yeah, he did.
So
I think they like Jared too. Jared Aberdeen's had some. He had some pretty.
He can get up. He can get up.
I just watching his film. He did his thing.
Well, but you want to talk about skinny arms? Woo.
Yeah.
So you've got to campus. It's 2016. What's the toughest part for you adapting to collegiate life, both on the field and off the field?
Any college, high school, going to college is just that amount of freedom. Actually, I take that back. That wasn't really too big of a deal. I'd say academically, it was just the I don't want to say the rigorous. I don't think I was like stressed about that. It was more the tediousness of the work. It's just a lot of work, right? Like you're doing a lot of freaking work. So that really got me, like how much more detailed you need to be in college. That would be that piece there. I think football wise, sports wise, it was more of just the fact that, you gotta humble yourself almost, and you gotta like swallow your own pride that you maybe gained in high school where you thought you were the man? Because I think my freshman and sophomore, or I think my sophomore year or freshman going into sophomore year, I might have lost my spot. Like there were some things that were going on where I think I was probably the weakest receiver because Danny came in. He was a baller. Ken was a baller. You get Q, he was a baller, right? So like I had to grind. And so it was the piece to like swallow my own pride and know, yeah, I can't stay stagnant. I got to catch some extra footballs after practice. I need to work on my footwork a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure I'm ready to go. And doing that and doing like little things, I was able to like just stay durable. And maybe that was one of the things that kept me out there on the field was I was just durable until senior year. But shoot, I'll take it. If that's, that's what's going to keep me out there and keep me, playing the game that I love, doing the stuff that I love, I'll do it. But I'd say, I'm sorry, I really just digressed. But that was those are probably the two biggest turning points from high school to college.
What's it like that first time you run out of the tunnel and see like just all red craziness? Like walk us through like that.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps thinking about it. I literally, that's the only way I can explain it is just goosebumps. I'm still getting goosebumps. But like just thinking about like, yeah, when you run out, it's smoky. You see, like all of these fans just yelling, roaring. You got, the cheerleaders all kind of cheering you on. You're like, oh yeah, I'm the man. You feel like you're the man for a second. But just goosebumps. I don't know if there's any other way I can explain that, but just all over.
Your first game though was at Lambeau, wasn't it?
At Lambeau, phenomenal.
That was the LSU game?
LSU.
Oh, man. I was there. That was beautiful.
I got to travel. I mean, I think I played a little bit. I got like a little jet sweep, got tackled, nothing special. But, just I'm doing like Lambeau versus LSU and we won. I don't know if it gets better than that, right? I mean, yeah. So goosebumps, right?
I love that it was that Bart was playing quarterback and he's named after Bart Starr. It was in Lambeau and just like the whole thing. That was so cool.
I forgot about Bart. Yes, Bart Houston, the boy. He's the man.
So speaking of quarterbacks, so you caught balls from a lot of different quarterbacks in your time. Like you caught balls from a lot of different quarterbacks. Now, I don't know if I can name all of them off the top of my head, but definitely Bart. Was Joel Stave still there?
No,
he had left 1 year beforehand. Yep. Okay, Bart, you had Alex, you had Jack, you had Graham.
I actually did not have Graham.
Oh, you were did you?
He redshirted my.
That's right.
You know what? He might have played a couple of games, but I think I was out when he was playing.
Yeah, that's right. Right. But yeah, you guys went through like a bunch of quarterbacks. Who, was it tough for you to adjust to different quarterbacks when you guys, especially if, like from season to season, or even like if you had to go week to week, if there was a change? I remember like Alex stepped in sort of mid-season to take over the starting role.
Alex, for me, just because he's a lefty, I'd say was one of the toughest to adjust. And it's not everything. It was just like, when you're coming across the middle, you can kind of see the open frame here. If I'm coming across from the left, let's just say, I don't know, it's different from a righty and then from a left. It just comes off different, the spin, the spiral. And I don't know. That for me was a little challenging, but not too bad. At the end of the day, it's just catching a football. But if we're just getting technical with it, I'd say like adjusting to his was probably a little bit more of a curve, right? But after you get it, you got it, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
What's it like? Because those guys are all really pretty solid QBs.
Yeah.
So how weird is it that there's like kind of that turnover during your time and like, was it the same like competition as the wide receivers were with all these guys and how did they kind of react? Because I liked every one of them, to be honest. Like I was a huge fan of all of them.
Yeah. And really outside of like, everything, they all were great quarterbacks, right? And whatever happened, between them, like what was going on was above my pay grade. But I think the coaches, I think it was a competitive room. I mean, fall camp, did he complete a pass? Did he not? Right. So it's measured down to the number, and then maybe percentages won out. I have no clue.
It's close.
Everybody did their thing, right? And then maybe it was chemistry. I don't know really what was going on, but it was a competitive room. I'll say that, because they were all so good.
I feel like it's always, every room's a competitive room.
Yeah.
And then I don't mean to like downplay what you're saying, but those guys all could have started.
Yeah.
Is what I think is what you're saying. You know, I'm trying to think like Brooks Bollinger and Jim Sorgi, you know, were back-to-back dudes. And they could all, you know, they could play.
Yeah.
Both of them. Completely different styles. Yeah. So, you know, you went into that, and then Brooks graduated, and then you had Jim Sorgi step up.
Yeah.
And then he graduated, and then you had Stocko, all different styles, which is kind of crazy. And then Coach Chris was our what was he? QB coach, tight ends coach.
Yeah, he was like a QB tight end.
Yeah. And he was split time as the offense coordinator.
Oh, so he did a little bit of everything.
He did a little bit of everything, yeah. My favorite part about Coach Chris is like, you see him in public and you're like, I just turn the channel. I'm like, you know, he only says nice things about everybody else. He doesn't talk about his team, or he does, and he's like, you know, AJ's family's the best. Like, what's the matter? They cook me dinner. There's nothing to do with football at all. Like, it's a football question. And then you get him behind the scenes, and he's the funniest dude.
He's hilarious. Yeah.
Making jokes.
No, yeah. He's a character. He's a character. He's good. He's good on the screen, but he's a character. Let's just say, I'll say that.
He's cracked a little bit with like the Miami chain. He's cracked a little bit. You know, like that Miami chain was probably your best game of your career in the Orange Bowl.
Yes,
that
was the turnover chain game. So walk us through that, man. Like, you had the game of your life in one of the biggest bowl games Wisconsin had been in a long time.
Right. Shoot. And remember, that was my sophomore year too. Mm-hmm. That was the end of my so that was that year that I had had to step up. And you know what? I think all of us actually had really, I think Q was out at this point, but he was hurt, I think. So it was Danny, Ken, and I. We had to like step up because Q was kind of leading the group at that point. And I just remember there was like, it felt like there was no pressure. You know what I'm saying? You know how in games you feel like there's pressure, but this game, there is no pressure. I don't know. We had like a good time. We just had fun. Like, we were having fun on the sideline, and then we'd go in, lock in, and we'd do our thing. And you know what? I think, you know, as an athlete in any sport, the goal is to find that zone. You know what I'm saying? It's to find that spot where you're just in the zone. You can get out of it. Okay, I'm here. And then you get back, you're in the zone. And I think I like truly found it. You know, I wish I had a couple more games after that to play, but I really feel like that was the first time since probably high school that I like really just was able to find that. It felt tangible. Like I could get there.
Could you feel it like in bowl practices leading up to it that like, oh, I'm on it right now? Could you feel that? Or was that just like something that like sort of miraculously happened when you stepped out on the field?
Honestly, I didn't. It was like I wish I could find it and explain it more. But during practice, I just remember, I was grinding. Like I think a couple guys were hurt. And it was like me and one other guy, and we were running reps with everybody. So I remember I was just toast, and I was just like, let me just get this game. Like, let's just get to the game so we can be done with practice for a few weeks. And I don't know. Yeah, that's really all I got for you. It just happened. It just was there.
What's it like mid-game for you when these things are happening? Like, are you like some pitchers, baseball pitchers are like, don't talk to me, don't come over. What's like your flow in a game, your vibe in a game, and when you're producing and you're like, I'm there?
Yeah. It's relaxed. You know what? I'd say that my best games are relaxed. Like everybody, they're going to say you need to find that balance, but I'm gonna naturally, like, I'm gonna have the adrenaline rush. You're gonna have the adrenaline rush. So as a receiver, you kind of have to have a little bit more finesse with you. As like linebackers, certain positions, you want to go hard, you want to hit it, right? receiver, we got to like have hand-eye coordination to catch the ball over our shoulder or to like to focus, right? And so to be able to, I think for me, I got to be relaxed. It's like I don't know. It's like a humbled relaxedness. It's like the humility to know that, yeah, you can't go too relaxed because it's almost cocky, but you got to be like aware. You got to be cautious, but at the same time, you've got this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm locked in. I got this. I'm gonna take care of business. It's just what I do. You know what I'm saying? It's like that type of mindset you got to get into, and that's kind of where my flow is. It's just this is my job. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna do it well, and I'm gonna beat the person in front of me every time. Right? It's just little things like that. You gotta find that vibe that makes you like bring that dog out. But again, it can't be the boxer dog where I'm just trying to hit somebody the whole time. It's got to be more of a, I don't know.
It's got to be the Floyd Mayweather. It's got to be like the clinical, the thinking about it and knowing like how you're going to react and counter things.
I'm going to react. Like, I know this guy's probably going to try to jam me here. So I'm going to just swoop him and I'm going to do my job and I'm beat him. And I'm going to look at him a little bit after and then he's going to know I just beat him. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things.
So obviously, players spend more time with their position coaches than they do with anyone else, pretty much, besides, pretty much some people in their position group. Well, was Coach Gilmore your receivers coach the entire time you were there? What was your relationship like with him, and how did you was he the first person that recruited you, or did someone else from the staff reach out to you first? And how did that relationship with Coach Gilmore sort of develop during your time in Wisconsin?
Yeah, Coach Gilmore is a great relationship. He did everything right. He's really good at what he does. He was not the first that recruited me. He was the first that recruited me out of Wisconsin. I'm sorry. Yes, he was. He basically said it from the beginning, like, it seems a relationship. I mean, it said it straight. It's a relationship, but don't, pick a spot because of the coaches. Because we can leave any moment. His goal was to stay, I think, until I think his daughter was out of high school or something like that. So it was that. And then he said, or if he gets like a offensive coordinator, he was just like, just up front, I'm go. If I get an offensive coordinator or coach, I'm getting out of here. But other than that, like I do plan to stay. So it was that type of relationship from then to now, right? Where it's just like, it was just up front. It was honest. He got me better, he taught me how to compete in a sense. And I mean, I knew how to compete. I loved competition, but it was just more like in a structured format. He was able to kind of instill that really all of us. And we also had a good relationship for sure.
That's awesome. So in practice, I usually ask this like a quick hits at the end. Who is the toughest guy for you toughest D-back on Wisconsin for you to like get a clean release on and to like get a step on?
So it's going to be a little weird because when I was a freshman, of course, I didn't really know a lot, but Sojourn was very tough. He was very tough. I didn't go against him a lot, but he was tough. I don't know. I did not have it. I don't, whatever it was, I did not have it to beat him. He had it. And then I'm gonna say actually too, him and Nick Nelson, they brought the juice. Like they're very, very different, but Nick played so much more of a chess match. And he taught me a lot. They both taught me a lot, but Nick, he probably taught me the most. He taught me the chess match piece of the game. And so actually, you know what? Let me go Nick.
Yeah.
I think he would be it. Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best corners to come through Wisconsin in a very long time. He's one of the best to do in the last 20 years at Wisconsin.
And he's great. And he's a workhorse. He was, AJ,
I love like your mentality around the game is so much different than mine. And I absolutely love hearing it because your game is more technical, I guess. Yeah. Mine was more like getting hyped and just running into dudes full speed. No,
you need that, right? That's part of the game.
There are some positions, right? It's just so nice to hear like the other, because then, eventually when you grow up, you become a grown, what do we used to say in the locker room? I'm a grown ass man. Yeah. It's the stupidest thing to say out loud. But as you grow, like in football, as you'll say, like you become technical. You learn where to put your hands and what dudes are going to do and the chess match kind of surrounding it. I figured that out later, but the physical part was like, that's not going any for a fullback. Like no matter what, you're not going.
You knew you had that. Yeah. Yeah. You had to have that or else you wouldn't be there.
Right. So I have a weird question for you.
Yeah.
What's one of the games, like your favorite game that maybe nobody knows is your favorite game, like that you played in?
You know what? I'll say this. I would say I really enjoy the Ohio State game my senior year. That's one. I definitely, I guess we know the Orange Bowl. That's a good one. Ohio State, I did my thing. Like the first time we played them, we lost, I know, but I scored a touchdown, but I was really, I don't want to sound cocky.
It's okay to be cocky.
I just want to say this. I did a really good job on my routes. I was open a lot. And I mean, blocking wise, I did well there. I felt good about my blocking there. So Ohio State, I felt really good about that game. And then I'd probably go with, I think I would go with, well, people would know this too. It would be the Michigan game. It was my sophomore, junior year. We were down and I got like a long 30, 40, 45 yard pass. And then I got another like 20-yard pass to get us a touchdown. And that put us up. And so to like be kind of a spark, I think I love that piece. It's just like doing that thing that like sparks, like gives you a spark. Kind of like it was an Iowa game, I think my junior year as well. I caught like a touchdown that put us over. Those are like the games and there's a couple more, I think, where I feel like I helped spark something, you know? I helped like just get the heartbeat back, you know? And so it would be the games like that.
Dude, man, you are a ball of energy. Like, I'm like getting pumped. I kind of wish I played with you now.
You're ready to go now. Ready to play a game. We can do it now.
It's funny because I played with a lot of guys that I feel like are similar to you, like that spark, the energy. Brandon Williams. Yeah, all day, energy in the weight room, talking smack to dudes. He couldn't lift that heavy. Talking, I'll do that. I'll jump in. Like. Getting people hyped, telling, I don't know, John Detman, but he was the weight coach. Be like, yo, JD, let's make this harder today. And then we're all like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, we're going to do it harder today.
Yeah.
And you kind of like feed into that energy.
Yeah.
So like, was that always part of your game? Did you just love that was like what you could do for your teammates?
Yeah. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't think it was. I don't think it was all. I really don't. I think it was something that came out when I'm in that zone. When I get into that mode, it comes out. You know, I'm gonna compete with you now. No doubts about it. I'm gonna compete, right? But I'm not. I don't know. Like I bring the energy. Like I'll talk smack, but I won't talk too much. But you'll. I don't know. It's like weird. I think I have like a weird kind of energy where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to talk a whole bunch of smack to you, make you mad. But if I'm beating you, you're going to want to beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I have that type of vibe where it's like, you want to beat me, you know? Cause I don't know. Maybe I do talk some stuff.
Who talked the most trash though?
Oh, Chris Orr. By you see how quick that was?
Yep.
Chris Orr.
We had Chris on the podcast. We asked him the same question. He told us himself. So I mean,
no, by all means, the most is Chris for sure. Yeah. But just as long as he knows he got beat by me plenty. As long as he knows that, that's it.
I love Chris Orr. It's a good call out. So like, who are some of the guys in the locker room that you're like, wow, I am so happy or lucky or feel so good to be in this room together? It could be defensive guys, although
Yeah.
I'm happy we finally got an offensive guy.
Yes, we've had a lot of defensive guys in a row right now. So
we seem to get a defensive kick. So this is a pleasure to have you for me.
I appreciate
Although I love the defense too. You can't win championships without, but
right.
Who's in the locker room that you're like, wow, and this is so cool that I'm in this room with these guys, or it could be when you're a freshman. I remember looking up to the older guys. Like, to me, it was everybody, but there were some dudes in there. You're like, wow, that's somebody ridiculously special in this world.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say the same. I'm going to start off with everybody, but then I think you'll probably hear this a lot. Dakota Dixon. Dude is something special. Like that's probably the best way I can say it.
What makes him special?
You know what? He's been through a lot. And, you know, I don't know if you may not know about it, but he's just like a very, very, very strong Christian. And, you know, he was somebody that challenged me a lot, like on my faith, on my religion. And he kind of was like one of those people that kind of, you know, in college, you start to do a little bit of everything. And he kind of was somebody that like was I guess like a rock, somebody you can kind of lean on. And not just for religious stuff, but just life in general, just going through. So, I mean, you know, you go through all these different learning curves in college football, being a college football player too. At that, there's just a lot that comes with it. And Dakota was just he was a light in that locker room. Not just for me, but for everybody. And we just had some really good conversations. We worked out, like it was one of those, a lot of times DBs, we'd all call each other up and we just get some work on the Saturdays in the off season, just whenever we could. And he was just one of those guys, you'd love to just be the last one in the locker room with him. And not in a weird way at all, but like actually just because, you know, you'd get into a good conversation, a deep conversation, and you probably learn something new about yourself and about him. Right. So it just was, I do miss that. Like I miss him, miss his conversations with that guy. So that would be one person for sure.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So if you ever get a chance to talk with him, trust me, you won't regret it.
Well, we definitely have to. Now you got to put the good word in for him to jump on.
I'll see what I can do. I'll definitely see what I can do.
So, you know, it's interesting. I guess I'll segue that into, you know, sitting in the locker room my freshman year. Jimmy Leonard's on the other side of the ball.
Oh, shoot.
The dude walks in. You're like, this guy, like, you know, Tony, Wisconsin. He's 5'7", 5'8". If they give him an inch, you know, depending on how many plates he put in his shoes or if he's standing on his tippy toes. And then you watch him play football and he just goes about his business. He's done that at Wisconsin. He did 10 years or whatever in the pros.
Yeah.
What's it like being around that guy? And you know, you say Dakota Dixon is like a role model. What's Jimmy like? What's Coach Chris like? These guys to me are role models.
Yeah.
And they were so much younger. Like Jimmy and I played together. We came in together. Yeah. Coach Chris was a young dude, you know, 15, 16 years ago. Right. So like, what are these guys like, you know, and what do they do for your game, if anything?
Yeah. You know, I'll start. Coach Leonard, he amazing. Just amazing. You know, you learn about coaching, you kind of learn, I mean, I don't know. I taught after, and so I know kind of like what teaching is about, right? And kind of molding the kids and stuff like that. So as I look back, I can see how Coach Leonard was just such an amazing coach. And like, in molding those guys, molding those athletes, molding them in the right way, right? So like him, I wasn't with them a lot, but most of the DBs, or just about all of them, love Coach Leonard. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just like, I don't know he has that energy. He has that. It's like, this was made for him. Like this job was made for him. Like he's walking into his purpose right there. So for that, and I think the same with Coach Chris. Now, you know, head coach isn't your position. He wasn't my position coach. So I'm not with Coach Chris 24/7, but he's like the CEO. He's the one that's instilling the culture. So if I can say that, I can say that the culture at Wisconsin was great. I mean, right, like while I was there, and it's matched the culture that you probably had. Like he knows the culture. And so he's bringing in guys, he's bringing in people to match that culture. And I mean, he had like it was like an open room policy, open door policy where just walk on up. Like you just come, it's not like enclosed, I'm working. There are plenty of times where me and Eric Burrell, me and that was my roommate. We just go up there and we just chop it up with him. Me and Eric would probably get in like a 30-minute conversation right in front of him, just about like just a stupid argument about, something that happened in practice. He just sit there right there laughing at us. And then we just kind of chop it up. And then he would kind of start talking about plays. And I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but he just has put in such a good culture that makes everybody comfortable. And like, he was like he's the one that told me to get out of my head. We know each other that well. It's like, you're thinking too much. If you just try going. You know what I'm saying? He said, don't think, just go. And so every time in practice, he'd see me. If he saw me like looking down, like looking like I'm calculating numbers, he'd say, AJ, don't think, just go. And usually it worked out. It works out. So man, he gets personal, and he understands the importance of having a good culture and just having a good environment for the guys to be in.
That's right. I know we're running out of time. What do you see as you're talking about the culture? You're not that far removed from the team we see today.
Yeah.
What excites you about this team? Like, what do you see in the team? You were 5-6 years ago? Like, what do you see that's still in that culture that still excites you? Still, like, every day you want to watch? What do you get pumped about for the product that's on the field today?
I was actually just thinking about this. I think the biggest thing for me, because I'll be honest with you, I don't really watch a lot of football. And so the biggest thing for me is just seeing how it all comes together, seeing the team. I love seeing how like the team plays together. And it's weird. I think I like watching the defense play together more than I like the offense, because I like just seeing the team make plays. I wish I really don't watch football because I can't see everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to see really like what's going on from the receiver standpoint, what's going on from the deep, like what are they doing? How are they playing the game? So that's why I really don't like to watch it. But I do like to see everybody hyping each other up. I do like to see guys making plays. And I just love seeing the team camaraderie. If there's a way you can kind of see that in the games, that's what excites me about Wisconsin football.
Tony, you mentioned like the wide receiver aspect. People don't understand that. Like, when you watched film for all 4 or 5 years, it was only in that lens, right? Like you only watched the wide view or the receiver view, right? Yeah. So like, so sometimes I'll go back to the game and sit in what is now the new part of the stadium, where the bleachers were. People like, these are the worst seats. And I'm like, no, this is behind the offense view. I'm like, you can see everything happen here.
This is where you were. This is where you live.
This is all I did. I watched from this angle every play.
It's the human all 22 is what it is.
Right.
It's exactly what it is. So it's just funny to hear you say that, because it brings back like those memories of, for me, it's the running backs and the linemen are always in the picture.
Yeah.
So for me, it's easy to watch football.
You can see,
you don't see the wide receivers do anything until they catch the ball.
Right. I like to see, okay, what is the DV playing right now? Like, is he how is he playing this? Right. What's the release this receiver just did? That stuff's so cool to me. Just seeing different people's craft. Again, that's probably goes back to the technician. Right. I like to see the craft, the work, like, how are they doing this? So yeah, it's kind of a different game to watch. Right. You would know, even probably just watching the linemen, watching the offense, watching everything, kind of how it plays out. Like, well, look at the steps. Where is his hands? Where's his eyes? All that type of stuff. You're paying attention to that. You're not, I don't know.
No, you're right. Because if you sit and watch with, like, let's just say someone who never played football, right? Yeah. It's a completely different experience with them saying, oh, why didn't he do this? Or why didn't he do this? And you're like,
yeah.
And sometimes I'll sit with my wife and be like, what the hell? He missed that cutback. And you're like, man, that hole was huge. And she's like, I don't know. He got tackled for 2 yards. And you're like, if they bring it back, which they hardly ever do, from the backside, then you're like, look at that hole right there. It's huge.
Wide open.
Mm-hmm. So it is funny, and I do completely get it. Like, it's just, people don't have that experience of like being in a room 24/7 watching film.
Yeah.
Till like your eyes are bleeding.
Yeah. Until you like literally can't keep your eyes open anymore, right?
When you have to stand up because you're falling asleep in your chair.
You take a quick step. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Dude, I would love, because it would be hot in the room. It was a small room and there'd be like 7 or 8 running backs. You turn the lights, were pitch black in there. Dudes would take their shirts off and just sit there, stand up, throw food at each other.
Yeah.
And my coach was so in zoned in.
Yeah.
You could really do anything back there.
Oh, see, yeah, no. that's
not Coach Gilmore.
Right there.
No, it's not good. Wait, any funny, like PG, ridiculous stories that you're like just bouncing, you're like, oh man, yes, we did this to the coach, or I don't know.
I mean, nothing really to the coach, but I don't know if you guys know this game ish. So Olive and Micah, they like played this game where it's like a rock, paper, scissors. So you just throw, and then if you win, basically you put your hand up and you can go right, left, up, or down. And the person has to move their head a different direction from where you point, right? So that's the game. I don't know why. And here's the competitor in me. While I was there, that game was the biggest thing. Like, I kid you not, anybody I would see, I would play that game. So there would be plenty of times, and I'm calling them out right now. There'd be plenty of times when we'd be in film, and me and Q, we'd be playing the game, like just very subtly, right? So listen, so we're playing the game, and Coach Gill calls us out. What are you guys doing? Watch, like lock in. And we're like, okay. And we look at each other, and then we start playing with our eyes. So we're like still doing the game. It was so bad. Like, we can't do it. He called us out. Then we start playing with our heads. We were tripping. Right? Like, we were tripping, but like it was just such a fun game. We'd always play all around the place. But yeah, when we get to practice, we'd start playing it. Coach Chris, he would catch us on. I don't know if he actually caught. It probably was us, but he catch people playing on film. Yeah, and we definitely got yelled at. Coach Gill would get on us, and then we look at where the camera's at, and we go a little bit closer to the wall, and then we keep playing. Little things like that. So
I love that.
Yeah, we were tripping, but we had some fun.
That's incredible, and I think that's a perfect way to wrap it up for us here today. AJ, this has been an absolute joy, honestly, man. Like, this has been incredible. I have a million more questions I want to ask you. So you're just gonna have to come back, and you're gonna have to bring back some of those guys with you, so we can ask Dakota about what makes him such a good leader, and all that goodness. So
we'll have to bring them back.
So tell the people what you're up to these days.
Right now I actually just started my second week at a digital agency. So I'm working for a company called Lifted Logic, and it's actually in Kansas. So again, I'm sorry to all my Missourians. I am working in Kansas, but it's an incredible agency, and specialize in web development and SEO and all of that kind of businessy digital marketing stuff. But yeah, doing that, and can't wait. You're actually going on a retreat tomorrow, so I'm gonna have a blast.
Dude, Dead Cat Ranch, you better watch out.
Dead Cat Ranch, because we're gonna get after it. I'm gonna tell you that.
AJ, do you ever get back to the games?
You know what? I want to. I've been so busy with life that I just haven't had a chance to just have like a calm weekend. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't even think I'm gonna have one this year. I think maybe like a year or two, I really want to start getting back to the games, but I've just been so dang busy that I just can't.
Please let me know if you get back, because next year, Matt Perkins and I, unless my wife's pregnant again, which could potentially happen.
Hey,
hopefully her mom's listening to this, so let's push for it, because I want to. Dude, let's go to a game. Let's
do it. We'll be there.
Go back to Wisconsin. It's great.
I'll definitely hit you guys up because
All right.
AJ, I love your energy, man. You're just such a breath of fresh air. It instills like this happiness of like the guys we still have in the locker room who are just good dudes all around. And it's like just so nice to know that, you know, like that culture has consistently been there since 2001, at least when I was there.
It's still
going. It's so cool.
There. I believe it's still there. So yeah, we definitely need to get back to a game for sure. We got to do this again too, though. So maybe like 6 months, 7 months, I don't know, or maybe next season. Just done. Let's just get another one so we'll
be back. What I would love to do would be to get you, Q, and Ken all together.
Ooh, you know what? We might. Q may be a little harder to find. I think we could get Ken. But all right, let's see if we can make it happen. I
like to think big. I like to, I think out of this is what's crazy. You know, Bernie's a running back. I think out of all the position groups, though, we've had, I don't know if we've had more receivers than any other position, but we've definitely had like we've had Lee, we've had you, we've had Chris Chambers, we've had B. White, we had Jonathan Orr, we've had, we are a heavy receiver podcast apparently. I didn't even realize that.
The whole squad.
No, for sure. Let's see what we can do. I think we might be able to pull that off. I really do.
All right.
Dude, you're our youngest by far, by the way.
I'm your what?
You're our youngest by far.
Oh, no. Really? Am I?
Receiver, yeah.
Receiver-wise,
not guest, though. I mean, I think Herbert. Well, Herbert's probably the youngest because he's still playing.
Herbert, but, Okay. Oh, dope. Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, man. We love it. We absolutely love it.
Listen, the culture in the wide receiver room has not changed. It's you're living proof. So it's just awesome to see that caliber of human is still part of the Wisconsin football team.
Good. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
Honestly, I hope it stays for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? And I think it can. I'm telling you, the culture there is phenomenal. So
yeah. Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. So guys, thanks so much. Enjoy the Washington State game this weekend. Bernie and I will be back next week. A little bit more Monday morning fullback breaking down the game. Probably gonna have Michael Bennett on running back with us next week.
So, Mikey B.
That's gonna be dope. And
fastest man in the land.
You guys, take it easy out there. And until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.
I love that.